Now for something slightly different. Okay, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes just for a few seconds. I want you to think of 4 things in your space that are blue. Okay. I now want you to open your eyes and have a look and count how many things in the space that you're in at the moment are blue. It could be pens, bottle tops, trainers, hoodies, bags, boxes, anything that's around the room that you're in, okay? Have you been surprised by the number of things that you didn't think of? Okay, all of these things are there anyway, but it's only when we're actually tuned into a specific thing that we actually see it. And that's how life goes. The receptors in our brains can't cope with all of the millions of things that our eyes are subjected to on an hourly basis. So therefore, it's only things that are in our subconscious that we are naturally alerted to. So I'm not into all necessarily power attraction or anything like that, but this is just the basics of how our brain works and the receptors in our brain. Okay, what's that got to do with anything? I will explain. So, if someone says that they're going to buy a black Volkswagen Golf, next of all, they're seeing the Golfs everywhere. If someone says that it gets news that their partner is pregnant, they suddenly start seeing babies everywhere, whatever the case may be. So because it's in our subconscious, not necessarily that we're looking for them, but everything then comes to the forefront. This is often the same way with our career. If we decide that we want to do something, if we make a conscious decision, if we write down what it is that we want to get out, it could be to be anything in our lives. It doesn't even have to be career-based. But once we make a decision that that's something we want to go for, that's something we want to get, naturally our brain is open to the opportunities then that are around us. Okay, I'd like you to take 2 minutes just to think about 1, possibly 2 things that you would like to achieve in the next 6 months to 5 years. It can be anything at all, work-related, personal, anything. I don't mind what it is. Just pause and write something down. Okay, so hopefully you've come up with something wonderful. And the bigger you dream, the more excited you become about something and the more you'll do to get there. So hopefully you've picked something really, really brilliant. Typical in my classes would be that they want to buy a car, get the driving license, buy a new house or move out of home kind of within 5 years. So we'll just take that one, for example. If someone wants to have a deposit for a place, and depending what part of the country that you're hoping to buy in, that deposit can greatly vary. Okay, so we'll just say €50,000 for a deposit. So if you need to save €50,000 in 5 years, that's 10,000 a year. 10,000 a year is €200 a week. How are you going to save that €200 a week? Are you going to work on your Friday afternoons? Are you going to work weekends? Are you going to put it into a post office credit union account so that you can't touch it too easily? What are you going to do? How are you going to manage it? Because now that I know I need to save €200 a week in order to get to that 50,000 in 5 years' time, now I have a better chance of succeeding and getting to it. So what we're going to do is that we're going to break down the steps of any goals that we want to achieve and work it out. What can we do in bite-sized pieces in order to get us there? Okay, so if you've chosen getting your full driving license, all you have to do is say, okay, what do I need to do? Do I have the time? Well, yes, as you're on your apprenticeship, you've got every Friday afternoon free, so definitely you have the time there to do it. Do you have the money in order to book those 12 driving lessons? That's a question that you need to answer. And next of all, when are you going to apply for the theory test? Are you going to do it today? Are you going to do it Monday? So we're putting a time scale on it. Are you going to have it completed by the end of the 6 months of your apprenticeship? Often we spend much longer planning a 2-week holiday than we do planning our lives. I sit down every New Year's Eve in the afternoon before the festivities start, and I think about the year in the past, what have I done, what have I achieved, and what do I want to get out of the year ahead? Maybe it's at the end of this decade. What way do you want your life to be? It's worth just sitting down, pen and paper, just write it down, because again, it's a visual thing that when our brain reads it, because we're visual learners, the cavemen drew on the caves in kind of pictures, so our brain reacts to visuals, okay? So what I would like for you if nothing else, is to just sit down and think about what is it that you want from the next period in your life. Okay. So, getting back to the assignment, Mammy talk over. So, what we're going to do is that we're going to have a look at the careersportal.ie. The careers portal, there's over 1,000 different careers available. Usually, when I ask an adult what do they want to be when they grow up, I still don't know, that they struggle. Because just because they've done something for 2 or 3 years, they think that they're stuck in that vein, that they have to continue somewhere along that road, that path that they've chosen. But realistically, if you're 20 years old, you've got nearly 50 years of work ahead of you, 50 years of a career ahead of you. When you're 40 years old, you have the guts of 30 years of a career ahead of you. It's never too late to stop and change. Why would you put yourself through something you're not enjoying for another 30 or 40 years? Just because you've done it for this amount, why would you spend the rest of your life going through the motions of it, okay? We are so lucky in Ireland that we have a great education system and a lot of free education as well. So, getting back to our assignment, what we're going to do is that we're going to have a look at Careers Portal. I want you to dream anything. It, again, can be trade related or not. And just pick whatever it is that takes your fancy as a possible, if you had a magic wand, what career would you choose? And this is purely for the exercise of it.